Thanks for being here today. My name is Anna, and in today's class, we are going to be using a strap to help us clarify our movement. So the strap can be a really useful tool to offer sort of an external feedback that can tune us into some potentially unconscious habits. So if you do not have like a typical yoga strap, you can use a tie, a belt, or anything else you have that is kind of strap-like. So we're going to get started off on our back. But we're going to take this strap and wrap it around these lower back ribs, like so. And then you'll come down onto your back with your feet on the floor and your knees bent. And then we'll loop the strap in front and hold on to the tail ends lightly there, just with your shoulders relaxed and your elbows on the floor. And so start by gently closing or softening your eyes. And notice if there is maybe a tendency to want to lift your ribs up away from the floor and up away from the strap. And think about just lightly kind of drawing down and just letting your back ribs soften down into the strap. And then we'll begin to focus a bit more on the breath. So breathing in and out through your nose. And bring your attention into inhaling right into the strap. And so we're not breathing down into the belly or keeping the breath up in the chest, but just feeling that full diaphragmatic breath. And just using that strap as a tool to help you get deeper into that. Take a couple more rounds of breath. Nice. And then just gently release the tail ends of the strap here, but we're going to keep the strap in line with those lower back ribs. And now you can have your hands on the front of your ribs, kind of on either side. And then just think about closing those front ribs off a little bit and then push your lower back ribs down into the strap. And then as you do that, try to keep your chin from lifting. So lengthen through the back of your neck. And if you need to put a blanket or a pillow or anything behind your head, that's always an option. Now keeping those lower back ribs pushing down into the strap, start to lift your glutes up. And then here's where if you have a block handy, you could always have a block between your thighs. Good. So keep those lower back ribs pushing down into the strap so it is just the glutes and the hips driving up without moving in the ribs. And let's just start with some little pulses here in the hips. And you can keep your hands even on the front of your ribs here, just helping to manage them. Let's take a couple more there. And so we're just working on mobilizing, strengthening, working the hips, working the glutes without letting the ribs move and kind of take over there. Nice. Now hold that up. Bring your arms up like you're holding a tray. Now take your right hand to your left fingers and pull back for a wrist stretch. And just check in there again that we're holding those lower back ribs down into the strap. Switching hands, left hand pulls the right fingers back. Perfect. Now let your arms come down. We're going to super slowly lower down one vertebra at a time. And then if you have that block, just slide it off to the side. And we're gonna set up for some core work. So bring your hands behind your head, interlace your hands and cup your skull, elbows hug in. Take an inhale breath. Exhale, lift up off your shoulder blades. Now same thing here, feel those lower back ribs push down into the floor. And so what you'll feel as well is these front ribs are holding down also. Inhale and lower back down. Exhale, lift up off the shoulder blades. Push those lower back ribs down into the floor. You can look down and see that the front ribs are holding down, the pubic bone is zipping up. Now bring your right knee up over your hip without changing anything else. Right foot comes back down. Inhale to lower. Exhale, lift up off the shoulder blades. Zip the lower front ribs and the pubic bone towards each other without changing anything. Bring the left knee over the hip. Left foot lowers. Inhale, lower the upper body. Exhale, lift up. Right knee comes up over the hip. Hold those front ribs down. Hold the sacrum down on the floor. Option to kick the left leg straight out, but we're not lowering it too much there. So you really want to hold that sacrum down. Left foot lowers. Right foot lowers. Inhale to lower. Exhale, come up off the shoulder blades. Left knee comes up over the hip. Now option to reach that right leg out, but we're not lowering it too much there. We really want to feel that holding down of the front ribs. Right foot comes back down. Left foot comes down. Inhale to lower. Let's do that again. Exhale, lift up. Right knee comes up over the hip. Hold the pubic bone and the front ribs towards each other. Maybe the left leg reaches out. Push that sacrum down into the floor, not letting the ribs arch up. Left foot comes down. Right foot comes down. Inhale to lower. Last time here. Exhale, lift up. Left knee comes up over the hip. Maybe the right leg kicks. Notice that we aren't letting those lower back ribs lift up away from the strap. Whew. And right foot comes down, left foot comes down. Inhale and release. Amazing work. So let's come around into a quadruped or tabletop position. We'll just have the strap handy there. So setting up with your hands underneath your shoulders and bring your knees in maybe just a little bit closer than you would think. Now imagine that there is a strap running from the back of your head, down your spine, and all the way into your tailbone. And I want you to think about lifting up so that we're keeping the head, the shoulder blades, and the sacrum, the back of the pelvis, in one straight line there. So those lower front ribs are lifting up. Now take your right leg and reach it straight back and feel a little bit of activity in that right glute working to help stabilize the pelvis. You can stay right there or bring your left hand behind your head and then feel that without lifting your chin up, you just take the back of your head and lift it into your hand. So we're keeping that straight line all the way down from head to tailbone. And then we'll bring the left hand down and the right knee down. Left leg reaches back. Now feel that there was that strap running down the length of your spine and take those lower back ribs, lift up into that imaginary strap. Right hand can come behind the head. Beautiful. And then hug that left glute. Feel it working a bit. Keep lifting the back of your head into your hand without jutting your chin forward. That's it. And then bring your right hand back down and your left knee back down. Great. So we're going to tuck the toes, lift up into a downward facing dog. You can bend your knees here, but I want you to imagine that someone had a strap in your hip creases and they were lifting you up more. But as you do that, don't let the ribs collapse forward. So take those lower front ribs and lift them up. Nice. Take a couple more breaths here. And just feel like you can breathe into your back. Perfect. So we're gonna walk our hands back toward our feet, and you can have your strap, and just move it back there a little bit. So as we walk the hands back, the heels come down, you can be up on your fingertips. And now take the strap, we're gonna slide it into your hip creases. And then you're just holding onto either end right at about hip width. And then pull back with the strap. So we're taking the femurs, we're taking the thigh bones and moving them back, but maintaining the length in your spine. Okay, so this is hip flexion. Perfect. Now keeping the strap where it is, keeping the length in your spine, rise all the way up to stand. And now I want you to think about taking your glutes and driving them forward into the strap. So you feel this activity in the glutes. Now we're going back into hip flexion. So this is hip extension. Now we're gonna sit back, flexing at the hips, pulling the strap back so you feel like those femurs, those thigh bones are moving back, but we're holding those lower front ribs in. And then rise to stand, hip extension, drive the glutes lightly forward toward the strap. Feel that contraction. Let's do that 2 more times. Sit back, sit back, sit back. You got it, that looks great. And come to stand, drive the glutes forward, hold the ribs in. Last time. And rise to stand. All right, so you can take that strap off to the side and let's take a little walk to the front of the mat. Okay, so we're gonna take an inhale, bring your arms forward and up. Exhale, hinge at your hips forward, fold, plant your hands. Step your right foot back, lower the top of the foot. Inhale, arms lift up. Nice. Plant your hands. Step the left foot back, downward facing dog. Feel the hip creases lifting up. The front ribs are being held in. Inhale, right leg reaches up. Exhale, step it forward as far as you can. Lower the left knee. Come onto the top of the foot. Inhale, arms lift up. Exhale, plant your hands and step the foot forward. Inhale, bring the arms up. Exhale, hinge and fold. Plant your hands, slide your left foot back, lower the knee but not the toes. Now grab a hold of your strap again. And just like we did at the start, we're gonna wrap it around the lower back ribs. And then you can hold both ends with your right hand. So feel that we can take these lower front ribs, push them back into the strap without rounding in your spine. That's it. You might feel more of an opening in the front of the left hip. Now you can take your left arm, reach it straight up. Now without letting the ribs pop forward, reach up more through the left fingertips and maybe do a little side bend. And then puff up a bit into the left side of your rib cage, right into the strap. Feel like you can breathe right into that area. One more breath. Firm that left glute. And then we'll lift back up. Can take that strap off to the side. Plant your hands, slide your right foot back, downward facing dog. Left leg reaches up. Step that left as far forward as you can. Lower the right knee, but not the toes. Same thing, grab your strap and wrap it around these lower back ribs. So we'll hold both ends of the strap in your left hand, and then you can take your right arm and reach it up. So feel that you hug these lower front ribs back without rounding. That's it. Take an inhale. Exhale, reach up and over a little bit more, firming that right glute so we aren't moving in the pelvis. And then breathe into that right side of the rib cage. And feel how that strap just brings a little bit more awareness into the area. You can almost lift into that side a bit more. And then we'll lift back up. You can slide that strap off to the side again. Plant your hands in front of you. Slide the right foot up next to the left. Come all the way up to stand. Grabbing a hold of your strap here again. We're going to step back into a crescent lunge with your right foot stepping back. So take the top end of the strap in your right hand. We're going to have that hand behind your head. Take your left hand into the strap, and we're going to take that to your sacrum. So the strap is kind of running the length of your spine here. You can soften your back knee a little bit, but just like we did in tabletop, think about the back of your head moving into the strap, the front and lower back ribs moving into the strap, and finally your pubic bone in front moving into your bottom hand. Take an inhale breath here. As you exhale, we're going to hinge forward just about halfway. You can straighten your back leg and then feel like you can lift those 3 points of contact up into the strap again. Back of the head, lower back ribs, sacrum, all in one vertical line. And then we're coming back up into crescent lunge. You can soften the back knee a little bit. Find that straight line there. Let's do that 2 more times. Hinge back into your left hip crease, just like we did when the strap was there. And then lift back up, crescent lunge. Last time here. A lot to think about. Now we're going to hold it in this hinge. Push down into your left big toe mound. You can even look right down at it. And then see if you can sit back into that left hip crease even more and hover your back leg. Whew, warrior 3, you got this. Wobbling is good, shaking is good. If you fall out of it, no big deal. You can always pop your back toes down on the floor as well. Now, super strong, we're gonna rise to stand, lifting that right knee up to about hip height. That's it. Now, feel that same action of that left glute driving forward as if the strap was still in front of your hips there. Beautiful. Now we're going to step this right foot back into a warrior 2. All right, now take your strap, wrap it around these lower back ribs again, and then feel that you can pull the front ribs back without rounding in your spine. So hold the strap with the right hand. We're going to reach up and back for a reverse warrior. And then lift into this left side of the waist and rib cage, almost puffing up into that strap. Inhale, warrior 2. Switch the strap to your left hand. Reach the right arm up and over, reverse warrior. Warrior variation. And then lift into the right side of the strap, the right side of the rib cage. One more time, inhale, warrior 2. Switch the strap to the right hand. Inhale, reverse your warrior. Inhale, warrior 2. Switch the strap to the left hand. Exhale, warrior variation. Push into the feet there. Come back up, warrior 2. We're going to parallel the feet, grab the strap with both hands, and then we're holding those front ribs up into the strap as we sit back into the right hip crease. And then over to the left. So moving side to side here in some side lunges. And you can even imagine that that strap was running down the length of your spine again. From the back of your head, down your spine, and that we're keeping everything in that vertical line. And this time we're gonna turn to the front, step the feet together. We got one more side. All right, so this time we're gonna step your left foot back, coming into a crescent lunge. Now your left hand with the strap comes behind your head. Right hand with the strap comes back to your sacrum, right at the base of your spine. Now you can soften that back knee a little bit and then move your head back into the hand and back into the strap. Take those lower back ribs, move them back into the strap. And then finally, your sacrum pulls back. It's almost like your pubic bone is pulling back toward that sacrum. Take a big full breath in here and feel that nice strong line. Now without changing that, we're gonna exhale, hinge back into the right hip crease. You can straighten your back leg, and we're not losing that vertical line. So keep the head lifted without the chin jutting and keep those ribs in without rounding. You can soften the back knee, lift up, crescent lunge. 2 more, just like that, you got this. Exhale, hinge back into the right hip. You can straighten the back leg. Take your time here. Soften the back knee and lift up. Last one, hinge forward, maybe about halfway, maybe not even quite that far. Now, just like you did when you had that strap in the hip creases, pull that right hip crease back without letting go of the ribs, and then maybe hover the back leg. You can even be up on that the left toes. Warrior 3 here, right? Invite the challenge. We're not going to be here too much longer. Now push down into that right big toe mound to rise to stand, big move. All right, left knee comes up into hip flexion. Perfect. And now imagine that right glute driving forward into the front of the hip. Good. Now we're going to take this back into our warrior 2. Step the left foot back. And wrap the strap around those lower back ribs again. And just feel that feedback that allows you to hold those lower back ribs toward the strap. Now we'll hold both ends of the strap in the left hand. Right arm reaches up and over, reverse warrior. Lift into that right side of the rib cage. Inhale, warrior 2. Exhale, hold the strap with the right hand. Exhale, warrior variation. Lift up into that left side of the waist and rib cage. Inhale, warrior 2. Exhale, reach up and back, reverse warrior, holding the strap in the left hand. Inhale, warrior 2. Exhale, strap in the right hand, warrior variation. Left arm reaches up and over. Lift your breath into the left waist. Come back up, warrior 2. Now parallel your feet. We're going to set up for our side lunges. So with the strap still around those back ribs, we're going to hinge back into the right hip crease. Hold the lower front ribs up into the strap. Keep that feeling as you move side to side. So if you feel anything in your knees, I want you to think about going back into your hips more. Just like there was that strap in the hip creases, pulling those thigh bones, pulling those femurs back. Last 2 here. And then we'll turn to face the front of the mat. You can lower down onto your back. Now we'll just toss that strap off to the side. And set up in whatever way feels comfortable for you. So if that means your knees are bent, your feet are on the floor, maybe you stretch your legs out. Just take a few moments there just to find a place that feels comfortable, easy, where you feel supported. And now without that feedback of the strap, just notice your breath. Noticing the effects of just having a little bit of extra feedback and of information. And if you found that maybe there were some unconscious ways of moving or some habits, not judging or criticizing yourself for that. Just allowing yourself to be curious about it. Curious about the way that you inhabit this body. Curious about the way you move throughout the world. And so that as we gain more of that feedback and more of that information, just allows us to develop more awareness and more grace for ourselves. And let your next couple of breaths be a little bit deeper. And you can maybe start to wiggle your fingers and your toes. And then when you're ready, gently rolling over to your side and coming back up to a seat. Taking these final few moments just to let everything soak in, to feel the difference in your posture, in your breath, in your mind. And then offering up just some gratitude to yourself for continuing to show up, continuing to make this time for yourself. And continuing to be open to change and growth in ways that you can bring more attention and more awareness into both your movement practice and your life. If your eyes are closed, you can gently blink them open. Thank you so much for sharing your time and your practice with me today, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Thanks.